Hey guys, welcome to Neat Movie News. My name is Dean Thomas.
His name is Dean. We like Dean.
And this is the second movie of the double feature I pulled off today. As I mentioned in my other review of 20th Century Women, which you can check out on the channel right now, I wasn't in a position to be able to film this with video, so just going back to the old ways of doing audio just for these two reviews. The video will be coming back. But this other movie, as I mentioned with 20th Century Women in that review, that we're in that last final. There's a couple movies coming out in January that are technically Oscar movies. They made their limited release in December. They're getting their wide release here in January. This movie was supposed to come out way back in August, along the same weekend of Suicide Squad. It was pushed for a more friendly Oscar release date. It's the movie based on the foundation and the founding of McDonald's. It's The Founder.
We got an order. 6 mixers.
To anyone in particular?
McDonald's.
Care for a little tour?
We wanted something different, and that's when my brother here comes up with one of his brilliant ideas.
Orders ready in 30 seconds, not 30 minutes.
Unique, original, there's nothing like this.
It's revolutionary.
It's exactly what it is. It's revolutionary.
So where The Social Network told the story of how Facebook came to be and Mark Zuckerberg as a character, The Founder tells the story of how McDonald's was created, built, developed, turned into the empire that it is today. And Michael Keaton plays Ray Kroc, the man that kind of more or less stole McDonald's as opposed to founding it. I really like this movie, and I do not eat fast food, and I'm not necessarily a fan of McDonald's as a corporation as a whole. And I think this movie does a fantastic job of kind of maybe why I feel that way about not about fast food, but about McDonald's. Because this movie starts off in the mid-1950s. Ray Kroc is kind of a down-and-out salesman at this point in his life. He's trying to sell milkshake machines. It's not going well for him. And you learn throughout the movie that he's been a salesman his whole life, selling different things here and there. And he's always kind of being laughed at because he's always just kind of the next big thing. He's always got the next big thing, but it never turns out for him until he meets Dick and Mac McDonald, who started this one little chain restaurant where they developed the fastest way to create a hamburger. It's such a simple menu you can get. Basically, a hamburger, fries, and a soft drink. That's all this McDonald's serves. And this movie is just fascinating. And you see how just inventive the McDonald brothers were, the sort of entrepreneurs they were. And then Ray Kroc discovers them because they order like 8 milkshake machines from him. And that so takes him aback that it's such a large order that he decides he's going to go check out what exactly this McDonald's thing is. And from there you see he understands this is a business opportunity that I need to get involved in. And Michael Keaton plays Ray Kroc really well. You understand everything about why he does what he does, why the decisions he makes. You understand kind of where he's been at most of his life that led him up to this moment, why he starts to do the things he does, because Ray Kroc is a good salesman. He's a great businessman, but the problem is he lets being a good businessman get in the way of being a good man and a good person, because you kind of start to see his humanity start to crumble. Because the idea developed by the McDonald's brothers is such a good one that he kind of he wants to franchise it, and he starts working with the McDonald's brothers, and he starts to instill the values that these just good-hearted people of the McDonald's brothers were. He instills those values, the way they did it, the way they're able to pump out burgers in 30 seconds, this assembly line sort of procedure. And then you start to see him start to get greedy and understand what he wants, how he starts to find loopholes in the contract he signs, how he starts to steal, instead of getting into the burger business or this franchise, he starts to buy the real estate, the land that these McDonald's are on, and he starts to steal control of the company from the brothers. And that's where you see his greed comes in, and how this movie painted him so well of, you know why he's doing this, because his whole life he was laughed at. None of his business opportunities really worked out. Suddenly he's got this great idea, and suddenly his ego and his pride starts to get fed into, and he wants to prove people that he's worth something. And he lets his humanity go because he's all about being successful, making the money, making a name for himself, making himself really be the important one. And you see how that starts to tear his humanity and his life away from him as he developed this whole new thing. I mean, the guy knew what he was doing. You see how he built McDonald's into what it is today, the massive empire that's able to pump these things out. The reason he was able to keep them so cheap, so efficient. I just thought this movie was absolutely fascinating to watch, is how this man managed to pull it off, how McDonald's, probably the largest corporation in the United States and maybe across the world today, how it was developed. And this movie does such a good job because it's got such a fun energy to it. It's got such, the way it's edited together keeps your attention. It's fast. I mean, not crazy, but it's fast. It keeps you moving. It's engaging. It's kind of a lot of fun, but then it also knows when to slow itself down and hit those really dramatic moments, which is where it pays off to have Michael Keaton in the main role because he's such a likable guy as an actor that you want to see him on screen. And he does show you that Ray Kroc isn't the worst human being in the world, but you do start to see that it starts to unfold and then other things become more important in his life than being a good person. And that's where Michael Keaton is such a great actor, pulls it off. Now, I don't think this is an Oscar sort of movie. I think it's a little too commercial, maybe a little too, I don't want to say fluffy because it does get into the big stuff, but it doesn't go like hard hitting. It doesn't like really want to devastate you overall. And Michael Keaton's great in it. I just think there's other performances out there this year that probably edge him out of getting onto that list of Best Actor. But I really, really, really like this movie, and I think it's a movie that whether you like McDonald's or not, it's a fascinating story that I think a lot of people, once you come out of this movie, you'll be shocked to learn some of the things that went on into building McDonald's into what it is today. So I'm going to score The Founder pretty darn high. I'm going to go with a 96%. I would rush out to see this movie, guys. I think it is one of the better movies I've seen in quite a while. It's so fun, and it's really fascinating, and you really do learn a lot. So I'd give The Founder a 96%. I'd say go see it as soon as possible. Well, there you guys have it. That is my review. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at NeatMovieNews for all the latest in the world of movies. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you back here next time.